Hello students, a very good morning. So students, in last class we have revised our chapter magnetic impact of current. So today let's revise our next chapter, that is magnetism and matter. And if we will get the time, we will also revise the topic galvanometer that we have left in the last topic. So first we will revise this chapter, after that we will see that. So first let's start to discuss our topic magnetism and matter with the things what we have to revise. So we have to revise in chapter magnetism the first thing about the magnet and the properties of magnet. After that, the properties of magnet, we will start with the force with which the magnets are interacting. Then we will see what will be the magnetic field due to any magnet at any point. And after the calculation of magnetic field, we will start to see the dipole moment and other terms, directions. So small topics are here also, like after this the Gauss law of magnetostatics we will see. Next, after the Gauss law of magnetostatic, in this chapter we will see what is the torque experienced by any magnet in magnetic field. Whenever we will keep what is the torque experienced by that one, if we have to rotate the magnet in against the torque, then what is the work done that we have to do there. So this is all the topics of first magnetism. Then one more things we will discuss, that is earth magnetism in this chapter. So why we are getting the magnetic field on earth. So and what are the elements of earth's magnetism that are necessary to study it, and then matter quantity we will see. So some of the things are deleted from the matter, but we will just discuss some necessary things that will come into your examination. So in the case of magnetism, let's start with the properties of magnet first. So as first of all, you know about the magnet. Magnets are those materials that attract the materials like nickel, cobalt, nickel, this kind of materials iron, they are attracting it. And now magnets, they are having certain properties. The first property the magnet has, that is magnet has directive property. Means directive property means always the magnet will start to attract or repel in a particular direction. Now, or second thing, if you will just hang a magnet, like if you will hang any of the magnet, suppose you have any bar magnet, this kind of magnet that you know it is bar magnet, and you will just bind a thread from its center portion, you will move it, and now you will start to hang this whole of the magnet after holding it. So if you will hang, then you will find out this magnet will always come to the rest in the direction of north and south. So as this is a particular direction in which magnet will stationary, it will stop, then it will give it the directive property. So later we will see why it is having the directive property, why it will always stay along the north and south direction. Then second property the magnet has, that is it is always appear in dipole form. And in one side of the magnet is known as north pole and the other side is known as south pole. Because of its directive behavior, that is it is always staying in north and south direction. So that's why we are giving the name to the poles, that is north and south poles. And the axis that is meeting these north and south poles, this is known as the axis of magnet, or we are also calling it magnetic axis. Now after this one the second property, that is I think now clear. Always we will get magnetic dipole, we will not get magnetic monopole, means single pole is not possible. And to see whether the single pole is possible or not, you can cut this whole of the magnetic number of parts. Every single magnet will again behave as like an independent magnet, and you can judge it by the repulsion test. So repulsion is the property of the magnet to test it. Like next property we have, that is attractive and repulsive nature of the magnet. So same pole, same type of poles repel each other. Unlike poles means always attract each other. So if you will bring the north pole of any other magnet to the north pole of this magnet, then they will start to repel each other. But whenever you will bring south pole, then it will start to be attracted. So it means you can taste every single part of the piece of this magnet by this test, and if they will repel, it means, or they will attract, they will, so both kind of property will have, they will always have the two poles, and we are always getting these two properties, so that predicts that always magnet appears in dipole pole. So these are all the properties of magnet. Now some terms that are very necessary to understand the behavior and the strength of magnetic field of magnet. That is, first of all, that is the magnetic axis. So magnetic axis, the axis passing through the center point of the magnet is known as magnetic axis. Now the next one, magnetic length. So geographic length is what? If you will see for this rod, this whole of the length is known as geographic length. But as always, the magnetic poles that are lying somewhat inside the magnet, and the distance between two poles is known as magnetic length. So this is the now magnetic length. You can see this length is less than always the geographic length. So this is all now the things regarding to the magnetic behavior of the magnet. Now after this, let's start to discuss the next thing. As you have seen just now, the magnet that can have attractive or repulsive nature, or the second thing, the magnet that is always appear in the form of dipole. These two things we will discuss later in our whole of this chapter in magnetism. So the first thing we will start to discuss, as the two forces are starting to, or the two poles, they are repelling or attracting each other, then obviously there will be some force, strength of the force or magnitude of force. So how can we calculate the magnitude of that force? So that can be calculated by Coulomb's law of magnetostatic. Just like the Coulomb's law of electrostatic, we are also getting Coulomb's law of magnetostatic. So to get the Coulomb's law of magnetostatic, suppose a bar magnet we have, and the two sides of the bar magnet, that is north and south pole, this can be supposed to be just like the two charges in the dipole. So like two charges, one charge is q, second charge is minus q. In dipole we can just suppose to them in that way. Or if some of the pole we have, then every pole as it is attracting or repelling, so it will have some pole strength. So that pole strength shows that how much strength the pole has to repel or attract any other magnet. So suppose the pole strength for this one is Qm, and pole strength for Qm1, pole strength for this one is Qm2, and these two poles are separated by the distance r. So according to Coulomb's law of magnetostatic, the force between these two poles, that is depending on the, first of all, their pole strength, so the product of pole strength, and that is inversely proportional to the distance, square of the distance between them. So it will, if you will remove now the proportionality, so it is obtained as mu 0.4 pi. So this is the force through which we can understand what is the strength of the force through which any of the magnet that is repelling other one or attracting other one. So that strength we can calculate by this one. Now after this section, let's start to discuss the magnetic dipole. So magnetic dipole, you have to understand that one. So first, every dipole, you know, that is made up of two types of charge particle, or like electric dipole if you will compare with that one. So electric dipole is made up of two opposite kind of charge particle equal in magnitude and separated by some of the distance. So similarly here, two of the poles we have. These two poles, they have opposite nature, because one pole, if it will become repulsive, then other will become attractive for the same kind of the pole. So it means that they have opposite nature. So we can represent their pole strength. Suppose the pole strength of both poles is equal, Qm. One can be represented by Qm, then other one you can represent by minus Qm. Just give it analogy to the electric dipole. So here one thing you can do while studying or while revising it, as you have discussed already, you have revised your chapter electrostatic. So magnetostatic is all just like the analogy with the electrostatic. So some analogy concept you can use directly here. So just like in analogy, if you will start to use. So in this is magnetism or magnetostatic, we can also write it, and this is electrostatic. So how can you do the analogy now? The first thing that is analogous, this is field. So in first, when in the case of magnetostatic, the magnetic field that is denoted by B. In electrostatic, E here. So only denotation you have to understand. Now the second one here, in the magnetostatic, the dipole moment here, for the magnetic dipoles that we are representing by small m. Here we are using P for this one. Now the torque here we can represent it by tau E. Here this is tau m. The force experienced by the charged particle, that is Fe. Force experienced by the charged particle in magnetic field, that is Fm. So in that way analogy you can do, and now you can use that analogy easily to find out the things here. Like in this case the magnetic effect is obtained by current, and in that way electrostatic that is obtained by the charge. So there the charge is important, here the current is important. Now let's start to discuss about this one. So as magnetic dipole is what? Just like the electric dipole, the strength of magnetic dipole that is given by, if again just now let's use the analogy. Electric dipole, you know, that is value of one charge into distance between the two charges, that is 2a. And here also suppose this is now 2a, for example the distance between two poles. So strength of one pole, that is qm, and the distance between them. So you can see now these two formulas are analogous. So in the same way you can write down the formula of this one. So this is now the dipole moment of this one. Again in the same analogy, like the dipole moment in the case of electrostatic, the direction of dipole moment, that is from negative to positive. That in the same way here the negative sign we have given to south pole and positive we have given to north pole. So the direction of dipole moment will be always from south to north. So dipole moment's direction will be south to north. You can predict easily by the analogy now. Clear, I think this one. Now as just now we have discussed about the dipole, then as in the case of electric field we have discussed the magnetic or electric field due to electric dipole at 2 points. One first point was at equatorial point, second was at axial point. So let us suppose we have a magnet, any of the bar magnet. At this bar magnet, this is north pole, south pole. At any point on this P, and on the axis of the magnet, we have to calculate the magnetic field due to this bar magnet. So how can we calculate the magnetic field? Again we can use the same procedure that we have done. This is the center of the magnet. From there this point is at r distance. This is whole as 2a. So this point, this will be at the distance r plus a from the north pole, and from south pole it will be r minus a distance. So due to the first pole we can calculate now the magnetic field. So magnetic field due to any point charge first or any single pole you can calculate in the same method as you have used in electric field. In electric field due to single point charge, the field that has value 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r square. So here one more thing, one analogy I just forget, that was 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. This was the proportionality constant there, and this proportionality constant in this way it is replaced by mu 0 upon 4 pi. So everywhere this analogy also you have seen. Similarly here the magnetic field you will calculate, this is mu 0 upon 4 pi qm divided by r square. So you can use now this formula directly with analogy to solve the problems to calculate the magnetic field at any point. So the magnetic field at any point due to south pole at point P, that can be represented as, suppose due to Bs we are writing due to south pole, and this will be have the value mu 0 upon 4 pi qm divided by r square, and distance between this is r minus a whole square. Similarly due to north pole, if you will calculate the value of the field here directly, so value of the field can be calculated as mu 0 upon 4 pi qm divided by the distance between these 2 points, and that is r plus a whole square. So this is now the, due to these two poles separately we have calculated the magnetic field. Now we can see the direction of this magnetic field. So due to, suppose at this point P we have kept the north pole of any other magnet. So due to that north pole, the south pole will attract it this side. So it will feel attraction this side. So its direction will be this side. But due to north pole, it will feel repulsion repulsion. So due to one, you can say north pole, the direction of field or the direction of magnetic field, that is this side, then due to south pole this is in opposite side. Now we can calculate the magnetic field at this point P due to whole of this bar magnet by using superposition principle. So superposition principle is saying the magnetic field at the point P due to collective behavior of this whole of the magnet, that is given by this formula. And if you will impose the direction here, then this will be with minus sign you can impose it. So if you will impose this one, then this will be mu 0 upon 4 pi qm. This you can take common. Then this will be 1 upon r minus a whole square, and just take minus sign for this opposite direction. So this will be 1 upon r plus a whole square. Now you can solve this equation, and after solving this you will find out the value of magnetic field due to any bar magnet at axial point here. So if you will solve, finally this one is obtained as mu 0 upon 4 pi 4 times qm r into a divided by r square minus a square whole square. And as 4 pi you can also cancel out from here and you can solve it. So this is the value of magnetic field that is obtained due to any bar magnet at any point. And for very short magnets, for example, if this r, this is much greater than in comparison to a, due to with respect to the magnetic length, if the distance of point is much greater than a can be neglected, and in that case this formula is achieved as mu 0 upon qm into, this is upon here. One more thing, a you can calculate, just reduce that, this will be obtained as r cube. So this is whole we have obtained now. So this is now you can write here 4 times, or 4 you can cancel out also, or if you want then you can just let that write. So only just you have to neglect a square, it will be obtained as r to the power 4, one of the r will be cancelled out. Now this whole of the equation, students, you can also convert in the terms of dipole moment. So as dipole moment m is given by q into 2a or qm into 2a. So from here qm into 2a you can take, and if you will take that one, then by using you can write it. This is obtained as here 2 times, let's just use 2 1. So 2 will be cancelled out, so it will be obtained as mu 0 upon 2 pi into 2m upon r cube. So this is the final value of the magnetic field that is obtained at the axial point due to any bar magnet. Similarly, you can now calculate the magnetic field at the equatorial point due to any bar magnet. So if you will calculate now, suppose this is your bar magnet and equatorial point is what? This is the center point. The line that is passing through the center is known as equatorial line, and at any point that is lying at this line, and we have to calculate the magnetic field at this point. So if suppose this is now the at r distance, we have to calculate, this is total 2a distance, so this will be a, this will be a, obviously this will be r square plus a square, this will be also r square plus a square. Now if we will see the direction of the force, so suppose again at this point P, the north pole of any magnet that is kept, then due to this north pole it will feel repulsion, it will have the force in this direction. Due to south pole it will feel attraction, it will have the direction in this way. So you can see two vectors that are separated at some direction, so their resultant we can find out easily, and if you will find out the resultant of this, then that will provide you the value of net magnetic field. So also here, why I am not deriving it, we can also use the analogy with the electrostatic. So in electrostatic, as we have calculated the value of electric field at the equatorial point due to electric dipole, and that was obtained as P upon 2 pi epsilon 0 r cube. So similarly here, if you will use that analogy, so E is analogous with the 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, that is analogous to mu 0 upon 4 pi. So 1 upon 2 pi epsilon 0 is analogous with the mu 0 upon 2 pi. So we can write it mu 0 upon 2 pi. P is analogous to m, and this will be as it is r cube. And this will be now the value of magnetic field. So in the same order, you can just use analogy here in this case. So just now you can use whether the method that I have just told you here to use, or you can use analogous method, because already this method, same method we have utilized in our electrostatic problem to calculate the electric field due to any of the electric dipole there. So this one is clear to you. Now after the calculation of electric dipole, electric field due to any electric dipole, our next topic of the chapter in magnetism was the Gauss law of magnetostatic, and before that one the topic of the magnetic field lines, that is also very important. So just like the electric field lines, here also we have the concept of magnetic field lines. So magnetic field lines that are used to denote the direction of the magnetic field at any point. So if we will see the magnetic field lines, they are started or they originated from North Pole, and they go to the South Pole beyond from the outside of the magnet, and again they come back to the North Pole from inside of the magnet. So in this way you can see this is the direction of the magnetic field, that is magnetic field line that is going, but it is again come to the North Pole by this way. So they are using the two different way, but always the magnetic field lines that is terminated at the North Pole. Means you can see now it is forming a closed loop. In electric field lines were not forming the closed loop, but magnetic field lines will form now the closed loop in this case. This is the first property of the magnetic field line. Second property of magnetic field lines, they cannot intersect each other, because if they will intersect each other, then at a single point they will represent two directions of magnetic field, and that cannot be possible. Third one property, if we will draw tangent at any point on the magnetic field lines, then that will provide you the direction of magnetic field. So these are all now the property. If crowdness of magnetic field lines means the relative separation between two magnetic field lines that becomes less, then that time magnetic field strength will be greater, and if the crowdness is less, then that time magnetic field will be less than. So you can say the relative separation between the magnetic field lines that provide you the value of the strength of magnetic field also. Next, after this, this is all now about this magnetic field lines. Now next one, if you have any of the surface, then obviously this magnetic field lines due to any magnet that will be originate and that will cross that surface. So number of field lines that is crossing per unit area of the surface, that is known as magnetic flux. So after this one, the concept of magnetic flux we have studied. So magnetic flux is defined by BA cos theta. Means if any of the loop that is kept at angle theta to the magnetic field that has area A, then the number of field lines that will cross that area A, then in unit time that will be equal to BA cos theta. This is called now the magnetic field. Also, if this surface is not rise, then we can also calculate it by integral over BdS. We can use this formula to calculate it. Now our next concept is Gauss law of magnetostatic. So just like Gauss law of electrostatic, we have also the Gauss law of magnetostatic. Now we can use the analogy again. So Gauss law of electrostatic was that closed integral E dot ds, that was equal to Q net or Q enclosed by epsilon 0. Is if we have any closed surface, what is the charge enclosed in that one? This is equal to upon that one the space that we have used. Suppose here also the space is free space, and this formula will give the analogy for the magnetic field. The closed integral B dot ds, magnetic field over any surface, that will be equal to 0. Why it will be 0? In the case of magnet, as always it obtained in the dipole form. So one dipole has the pole strength Qm, the one other one has minus Qm. The net pole strength will become 0. So net charge enclosed by the magnetic field will be 0, and due to that one, this whole of the integral will be 0. So this whole integral will be 0 whenever we will have only dipole. So this magnetostatic is Gauss law of magnetostatic is predicting always that magnetic monopole does not exist. So this is very important conclusion of this magnetism concept. So students, today about the magnet behavior, magnetic field due to magnetic dipole and Gauss law that we have discussed, and analogy that I have just told you how to use. You can revise it in that method also. So that we have discussed. So let's end our class here for today. Thank you, students.